Hello, I'm making a video to show folks how I use the AeroPress. There's a few different ways to use it, but there's some basic ways to use it. And also, not just to show the AeroPress, which makes, for me, a custom cup of coffee or a couple of cup of coffees, or up to 4 cups of coffee, as a matter of fact, but also the kind of the ensemble I put together that makes me very happy every morning to come in, make my coffee, and then of course to drink it. So let me start out with the glass that I use for my coffee. I bought this on Amazon, and I like it because it's a double insulated glass. It will hold 2 cups of coffee easily. It has the silicone grip on the side and the silicone top that seals nicely. And so it keeps my coffee warm or cold, depending on how I make it. And so this has turned out to be a nice little addition to my ensemble. Let me go ahead and show you the AeroPress. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there on this, including on AeroPress's website itself. But I just kind of keep these things stacked. Just to kind of keep things as neat and tidy as I can on my counter, but I kind of pulled things apart a little bit for this YouTube. Then next is I did a lot of research, decided on this grinder from Bodum. The reason I like it is several reasons. One, it grinds very well. This is a ceramic grinder. Not a blade grinder, so it doesn't heat the beans up as much when the beans are being ground. I can adjust the grind here with this button and this controller slider, so I've got it set just perfect for me for the AeroPress. If you want to move it over further, you can actually get an espresso grind out of this, so it's very, very nice. Also, the amount of time that it grinds. Now, as you can see, I have my hopper full of coffee beans, and I prefer this. That way I don't have to measure out beans every morning. Some people do not like light exposed to their beans, so to each their own. That's perfectly fine. At any rate, as you can see, this seals a little bit. It just lifts up, but it seals. It has a self-sealer right here in this edge. So when I put this on, it gets an airtight seal, and I really like that. The other thing that I like about it is that the container down here that catches the grounds is made out of glass, and it too has the silicone gripper here with the Bodum name in here, so it makes it a little bit easier to hold on to. And then of course this comes off. Now, as you can see, there's some grinds in there from my previous grind yesterday, and one of the nice things I like about this over plastic is that there's not quite as much static charge that gets created. Now there's some, but not quite as much. Okay, so have an on and off switch over here, and has a nice little storage in the back for the cord, so you don't have to have a lot of cord hanging out over to your plug-in. And it's pretty simple. I'll just push this button in a few minutes, and you'll see the grind. It'll last about 12-13 seconds, something like that. My other very nice addition is the Cuisinart electric kettle. Now, there's a lot of them made out there by different manufacturers. I chose the Cuisinart because it had great reviews, so it has some history with it that told me that I was probably going to be happy with it. It has different temperatures that you could select, excuse me, including the 185 for white tea as well as for coffee. It starts out with a 160 for delicate and goes through green, white, oolong, French press, as well as a boil. And then it has a keep warm button as well. I find it really useful. In the mornings, what I do is I come in here, press my grind, turn on the 185 for my coffee, and then I go out to my vegetable gardens, gather up some vegetables, or see how my plants are doing. Spend a little time with my pups, and I don't have to worry about whether or not the pot is boiling over on the stove. I just know that this will come to temperature and then it'll keep it at that temperature. So with that, let's actually watch the process. Let me start first by hitting the 185 and hitting start. And as you can see, this is blinking, letting me know that it's in the process of coming up to the 185 temperature. Now, let me move that back just a little bit so you get a little better look at the grinder itself. What you're hearing right now is that you're hearing the electric kettle warming up the water. Now, I just had this warmed up. Hopefully you got to hear those couple little beeps and see that this stopped flashing. So I'm up to temperature already. Again, I already had this on a few minutes ago before I started the video. So that came up to temperature pretty quickly. How long does it usually take? Oh, probably about 3 to 4 minutes. So it's pretty fast. Also, it's dependent on how much water you put in it. So obviously, a smaller amount of water, the quicker it'll come to temperature. The other thing, let's go ahead and, this is a little loud, so I'm going to warn you. This will go on, like I said, only just for a few seconds, and then it'll stop. There we go. Now, I have exactly the right amount of coffee at the right ground in this little cup. So that works out really well. So let me go ahead and start the coffee making process. First thing is bring my cup out, and first thing I do, or I should say the second thing I do, is I grab a filter and put them in here. Now you can put 2 filters in if you like your coffee filtered a little bit more, and I usually do that. So and these are very inexpensive, so no problems. I'm facing the 1, 2, 3, 4 cup measures in front of you. Now these are not actually cups. This is saying if you want 1 cup, fill the water up to here, 2 cups here. This holds 2 cups, so I fill here, sometimes between here and here, just a little bit. Next is I place the, I have to move this out just a little bit. I place the funnel on top, very handy to have, and all I have to do at this point in time is dump my coffee down there. Very simple. Put this back for tomorrow. Okay. And I'm going to run this up a little above 2. There we go. Yeah, about maybe almost 3. That's fine. For me, I can have that much variability. Now this is really neat. I saw a video where somebody said toss it out and then do it in the trash. No, 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 no. This is what you need to steep your coffee and mix it and get it to mix up in there. According to the instructions with the AeroPress, about 10 seconds. I do this anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds. Does it make a difference? Yeah, it does. So you'll kind of get your feel for it. Now the other thing that makes this very nice is that I just grab this at the bottom and I bring this over to the sink so there's no mess, and I just put that in the drain. Now the next thing is I'm going to press my coffee. So all I do is push this down. Now sometimes I'll wet the rubber plunger a little bit, but it really doesn't make any difference. The reason I wet the plunger is that just so that it makes it a little easier to get started, but I haven't found that it's really necessary. Okay, and so there I am complete. Now I didn't put a lot of pressure on that. Pretty much the weight of my my hands and arms, and so now I can dump this in here. Now normally I just turn around. I'll take this filter off. You see the paper is still there, and just push that out a little further, and I've got my coffee puck that I can turn around and throw right in the trash. Normally I don't even put my hand on it. I just turn around and push it out into the trash. At this point in time, I'm able to just perform a rinse, and I will place this here, this is all rinsed, this here, and that in there, and I'm done and ready for tomorrow. I'll continue to fill up my coffee glass. Again, if you use cream or sugar, you'll probably want to grab this guy again And again, just rinse him off and drop him in here. You're hearing the electric pot warm up again because I didn't turn it off. And let's see how I did. That is a great cup of coffee. I hope you enjoy what I've shared with you today. I just wanted to kind of put out there what the benefits of what I've learned. And you might want to start with what I did. You might want to check around from what I've done and find what works best for you. Anyway, enjoy your coffee.